Come out here to pray! They already dropped tear gas with the airplane duster. We have no weapons! Oh, they just put bullets in the gun.
Nothing has drawn more attention to Native Americans and their political needs than the massive protests against an oil line right here in Standing Rock, North Dakota.
Across Turtle Island, united for one purpose. We are in solidarity.
Native Americans are now only 2% of the population and have a very low voter turnout. But one determined activist is prepared to give these issues a voice. I'm Maria Hinojosa, and this is Humanizing America.
I think this is a really historic moment. It's incredible. A tribal member put out a call and asked for help, and we all came.
Did you imagine that in your lifetime you would see this kind of a protest?
No, I never thought that there would be this coming together of hundreds of indigenous nations against a single pipeline. There's upwards of 300 different tribes that have come to the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation to give their support and to say, we stand with Standing Rock.
The world is now watching and they're seeing what's happening. If America is the great nation that we claim to be, how can we treat our indigenous people the way that we are?
I grew up actually in a largely white community in International Falls, Minnesota, and felt very marginalized and kind of left out of the conversation. I struggled with being Native for a very long time. It was during law school that I started in representing Native families that were being torn apart, and I saw how great the need was for representation and just realized that that's what I had to do.
How did your work lead you into this kind of political activity?
Picture a community that already has poverty, all the things that come with poverty, so drug use, alcoholism, children being taken out of home at disparate rates. I mean, it's a whole system, and then you put an extractive industry project right next to it and a man camp right next to it. There'll be a huge influx, thousands of workers to come and put that project in the ground. That's what's going to happen. It's an increase in crime, in human trafficking, in drug use, in all these different things that will then impact that community. This digging and trenching of the earth to put something in, they consider that an act of violence against the planet. We're at a point now where we have finite water resources. How could we possibly put those resources at risk? And add to that, an oil industry that largely targets these rural areas. It's further downstream, it's by the reservation. Those are not people that are going to cause a fuss. Or maybe they will, but we're going to be able to run over them. It's environmental racism.
Can you tell us what's significant about the fact that this protest is happening on this land?
This is treaty land that we're on. This is the treaty land of the Otechee-Shakowee. This is not the United States land, this is our land. We should not be at a place where we're still have unequal rights. We should not be in a place where you're still slamming projects through our communities. Treaty rights should not be being violated in 2016. I think one thing that we've definitely seen is the power of social media, the ability to connect to one another. It's changed the conversation, it's changed the game. We can now reach out to one another over the internet and share our struggles. Children, women, men, all join together, going out in peaceful, direct action, standing together and praying over the pipeline, praying on the pipeline route, praying for the water.
How does this form of political protest then actually move to policy change?
This encampment and the direct actions against the pipeline construction, the people that are putting themselves in front of bulldozers to stop it from actually going in the ground, that has elevated this to an international level, to the point that we now have seen the president say that he stands with Standing Rock, that the Department of Justice, the Department of the Army, the Department of the Interior all put together a joint statement and said they're going to reassess the whole permitting process. That's incredible. That's how you get change done.
The political reality right now is a presidential election. How does all of this fit into the presidential election and Native Americans going to the polls?
The presidential candidates don't even mention Native Americans in their speeches, and we're not even a thought. You know, in order to get our conversation at the table, in order to be part of it, we need to actually engage and to get out and vote. Our votes still matter, our voices matter, our representation matters. We can no longer ignore this.